So this is Mr. Mulindwa, and
Yes,
and
Mr.
he told me some interesting stories a few days ago. His grandmother, she grew up in Tutsi.
Yes, she's a tutsi.
She's a Tutsi.
She grew up. The father, the grandfather, her father migrated in the it was the second genocide, I think, in the 50s.
Yes.
I think around 1958.
Yep, 50. Yep.
50 something
Yep.
there.
Yep.
They came to Uganda. They settled around Masaka. Then eventually because these are pastoralists, they have to look for pastures. Oh, okay. So because they had to look for more pastures, the land had become a little smaller for the big numbers that were migrating from Rwanda with their cattle. So they moved further to Mpigi, because Mpigi is after Masaka, then as you're getting closer to Kampala. So they meet Omwami wa Kabaka. Omwami wa Kabaka in our language is the king had his people whom he gave large pieces of land. He would
The Baganda Kabaka.
the Baganda Kabaka.
So okay.
He would give them land.
In the 1950s.
Actually, before that, we would say that these are, as we talked about, the centralized kind of system where the Kabaka had the chiefs. So my great grandfather, the father to my grandmother, was given land, and
by Mwanga or what?
One of the chiefs of the Kabaka.
Ah, the chiefs.
That has to be now Kabaka Daudi.
Yeah, Daudi, yeah. The young boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, yeah. So, the Mwami wa Kabaka asks only for a cock. Give me a cock and I'll give you. And he gave him a lot of land. So we settled there. But they had this little girl who is my grandmother. Back then, schooling was not an issue. These girls were not going to school for what? You are not eating good fish. You're not supposed to eat chicken. You're not supposed to eat those tasty.
Because of traditions, right?
Traditional.
Even fish, they were not allowed to eat.
No. And for the Rwandese, fish is not really.
Really? I heard chicken, eggs.
Chicken, eggs, pork. They only eat beef.
But they were allowed to eat beef. Okay.
They're allowed to eat beef.
Okay.
That's the only meat they would eat.
Okay.
The chicken, the goat's meat, what? No.
Okay. And
So
that
now,
grandmother, yeah.
Now my grandmother, she visits a brother to the father.
An uncle.
I don't know, you call
Uncle.
Uncle, yeah. So it is somewhere in Masaka. These are real Munyarwanda people.
Yep.
Typical culture, still, even the language is.
Even the fattening was.
Yes, even the language. Now this who crossed to Uganda. Remember, the biggest part of Masaka is Uganda, but they have so many people come from wherever and they join in Masaka. So there's a lot of concentration of Rwandese coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when they come here to the central, almost to the central, they start picking up the Chiganda style, the language, the Luganda.
But what did your grandmother tell this? What did you hear? That's what we want to hear.
Now I'm coming to that. When he was taken back for just to check on the uncle, she was only, I think, 14, or not yet 14. She had not even got her first period.
Okay.
Now, there is a practice and a culture in Chinyarwanda culture. When a man there is a local herb. It's like one of those climbing trees in our language. I research and get the fine English term. But we use it for even medicine. It's a bit bitter. It's called a bombo. Someone makes kind of a rope out of it, something. And once that gentleman or man comes and puts into your neck like this, they make an alarm. Oh, You have been taken. You have been taken without your consent. Now, that gentleman, there's a girl who had come from Buganda, goes, but she's Rwandese, she's Munyarwanda. And she's beautiful, but very young. She are not, even the breasts are not yet like. Then, a friend of hers tells her, escort me to the city center. But she was in the deal. This boy had told him, this man had told her, take her to the center. That's where I'm going to do the trick. Then she gets there. This guy jumps from the bush and puts the herb like around her. She moves it and throws it because she didn't know the culture. She's young. She's only 14. Now everyone started making an.
So it was too late, even though they threw
Even
it.
if you remove it, it is done. You're finished. You're taken.
That's crazy.
Yes, you're taken.
Yeah.
Now
She's now the wife of that boy.
I'm coming to that. Now after people gathered, and when she went back home, everyone was saying they have taken her. They have taken her. Traditionally,
Yep.
Now they have to get a cow and send it to the father. The father in Buganda, almost this side of the central region. She said, I'm not marrying. They said, you cannot refuse it is culture. I'm not marrying him. No, it is culture. The guy got a cow that has not yet given out calves. Very, very, very good one. They bring it to the daddy's home. Say, now we made some mistakes, but this is for reparation.
What mistakes did they make if it's culture?
No, you have to. It is like we have stolen, but culture allows that. So for this, we are paying this cow for that. Now you're going to let us know what as bride price. That is not bride price.
Ah, that's like a
kind of reparating for what
reparation
you have
for.
done.
Okay.
Now you're free to tell us how many cows you want, but this is out of the deal. This is for the other thing you did.
Okay.
Because you didn't sit with her and consented, you had a shortcut. Now this is for the shortcut as punishment. The dad refused to say, I'm not allowing my daughter. The mother said, that is culture, you can't stop it. My daughter is 14, is young. You have to. No, she cannot marry. She cannot marry. Then it had to take so many, like 3 people to convince him to allow the daughter. Eventually, he allowed. My grandmother was taken to marriage before even her first period. She got her first period in marriage. She was taken, crying like a baby, but there was no turning back. Then she gets there, the first born was a girl. About she spent there about 5 years. She got pregnant. She gives birth to a baby girl. That was she was around 15, 16 there. She gave birth at 16. Then after giving birth, she ran back. She left the girl there to the father. She ran back home. Yes, she came back to Buganda to here to
And that was not a problem.
That was not a problem because now, because the father even refused to.
Yeah, but what about the bride price? It was paid already.
It wasn't paid. This was for reparation.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it wasn't paid. Now, if they had paid the cows, this girl was not going to leave the marriage. But the father had refused. So they bring her. She leaves the baby. She comes back, and she marries another gentleman from here, from the central. That's where she gave birth to 12 other children.
12 children.
Yes, 12.
But she left the first one with.
The first one there. Later, she goes back and picks her. She was about 6 years, 7 years. She didn't go back, not until the girl came actually. The girl came looking for a mother. The girl came looking for a mother. Now at around 7, she meets the mom. She stays this side for a while and she goes back. Now, she came back, I think she was even 35 plus years. Almost very fat, like, you know, they take a lot
So
of
they
milk.
fattened her.
Yes,
They fattened her.
very fat. Like, take a lot of milk. And
Talk about that fattening because it's still ongoing.
the fattening before you get married.
Mm.
You know, when you're thin, in African culture, when you're thin, you cannot marry. You're thin, you have to. So they will put you in a house.
Yes.
In our language, in the Chiganda language, they call it kufumbirira. In Ankole and Rwanda, they have a term they use, but not until your hand is like twice like this huge, then they know she's ready for marriage, and they will feed you with a lot of milk.
Yeah, I know.
Milk, muzigo, milk, ghee, whatever it is, such that.
And she cannot leave the house, and she's not allowed to leave the house.
You don't leave the house. And the other thing, by the way, when you're married, you don't look into the eyes of the person taking you. That's why you see most of the weddings, the woman is like this, and it looks like forced.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, very sad. Ladies never enjoy their weddings, but that's how it is. I don't know. It has been from so many years back. You don't look into their eyes, because I was also wondering why don't we look into the eyes? So it's like, yeah, you don't look into their eyes. You're like this. Some even are married when they're young. You would see someone crying.
Absolutely, yes. I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, you have seen that. Crying.
So, and your grandmother told you about the relationship between Hutu and tutsis. Is that correct? How the tutsis treated the Hutus.
Yeah.
What did she say?
Yeah. She told me. Remember, she's even tusti, but she was very honest. Now she tells me, you see, the hatred between the two.
Speak a bit louder, please.
The hatred between the two tribes, the genocide, what we have seen, is not. It wasn't just now. The hatred is as far as
we can think.
We can think.
Most likely.
She told me, I don't know how far true this is, but she told me the original inhabitants of the land called Rwanda are not the Tutsis. That's what she told me. The Tutsis, she's Tutsi. She tells me these people come from wherever they come, Ethiopia, migrated, and
that's
and
what they believe,
and you remember they are pastoralists. The original inhabitants were cultivators. You know, the Hutus were cultivators, gardens. You know, they are not cattle keepers. No, these guys come from wherever they come, and they settle. This is what she tells me. You know, she was a good storyteller. They come and settle in. Eventually, they were the minority, very few people. The Hutus were almost the big number. But I don't know how it came about. These people because they were shrewd, very intelligent, very tall, very handsome. Let us look. Now, eventually, one of them become a king. They become kings. And they are the minority, but they have the power, the political power.
Yep.
Now she tells me that the king, Kamuras, that's the name she gave me, that his spear could not settle in the mud.
In the soil.
In the soil. It had to be put on a Hutu's foot. So
on a Hutu's foot?
Yes, like your foot.
Hutu,
yes,
not Tutsi.
Not Tutsi, or Hutu's foot. When he wanted to spit, like his saliva cannot go on the ground. Someone had to put either side, you know. That's what she tells me. Now these people started getting fed up. The anger. when I would call when the whites started coming in, the Belgian, the French, they associated so much with this. They these are they found it easy to associate with them, and still the Hutus left out. So the anger started boiling with time, and once they got the chance of overthrowing a Tutsi king, that was the first genocide. They overthrew the Tutsi king, and the murders, and you would see, and some of the things you would think unthinkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That she told me, this is what she tells me, that if you, Andreas, you were a Hutu and you married a Tutsi woman, you have children, they would come, the Hutu, murder, kill the wife and the kids because they had some Tutsi blood.
Really?
Yes, they would put something here, like a stick, like the daughter stick, the mother stick, and the son, and they would hang them, and their bodies would
How do you know all that stuff from your grandmother?
Yes, she tells me. She told me, and it's not a lie.
No, I know it's not a lie, but it's...
This is how it, now, because she's Tutsi.
So when they were mixed, the mother would have been killed?
Yes.
And the kids would have been killed?
Yes.
Like
and
strangulation?
Strangle and what? And that was when, in the first war. That
1924.
24, yes. There would be, but it was not as serious as the late. Because I was asking her about it, because I know she would speak Chinyarwanda very well. Though she grew up from almost here. She came when she was no. So I was asking her. I used to enjoy her stories. This is what. But why would I was asking her? I was inquisitive. Why would someone kill a person like a rat? And she told me, my son, my son, look here. The anger was too much. These people were mistreated. She told me, we mistreated them. Remember, we are not the owners of the land.
Not only this, I read that it's very interesting. When the Christian missionaries came, they had absolutely no converts on the Tutsi side, no converts at all.
Yes.
But the Hutus, they felt liberation, and they converted.
And the gospel was telling them
exactly.
That. The gospel was telling them that blessed are the poor, blessed are those who are persecuted, for them, theirs is the kingdom of God.
Yes.
And most of the churches in Rwanda, the biggest majority are Catholics. And
yeah. Even they were Catholic.
Very few converted, very few Tutsis converted to Catholicism.
Any other stories she told you remember?
Basically it was when she comes here, now these people have problems. The Rwandese, they have problems both home. And and if I would put East Africa in the context, in the large context, everywhere they go, they are like, this is not where you belong. This is where you not belong. This is where you. Now they come here. They are here. Very many, a big majority.
Yes.
Even it is still a problem here. She tells me in the 70s, 80s, about this time, they told them, you Rwandese, if you are going to go back home. Now she's all her life she's known, she knows Uganda. She has never stepped in Rwanda.
Yep. They still want to get rid of you, right?
But you have to go back. I think Museveni was in bush trying to fight about, and but in revenge he wanted. So she tells me that all of them had to go to the district and register. Remember that area, Mpiji area, but they have also so many Rwandese and the Burundians who came in. So she felt sad that some of the neighbors were very happy. When you go, you give us your land. when you go, you leave me with your chicken. You leave me with your. She, really? These people are the ones I go with and drink some beer, and they are saying when I leave. So eventually, the plan of Obote never came to fruition. It was never effected, and many of them remained. But some feared and ran back, thought that Obote might slaughter us like they did there. So some of them.
Now, one question now, when back to that king, putting his spear explicitly into a Hutu foot, right? That's what you said.
Yes.
And people did not rebel. There were more than the Tutsis.
Yeah, there were more.
Majority.
There were more, yes. They didn't rebel?
No. No, that's what you told me. Until the whites came and told them, look, you're also humans. Because I read in history books that they treated them very badly. That it was a very feudalistic system. The Tutsis were the head.
Yes.
And the slave owners, and the Hutus were the slaves. And
yes.
they had to work for them almost day and night. They were almost starving. You can read that in books.
Yeah.
So the life they had was very harsh.
Yes. And no, she told me they tried fighting, but all the fighting was squashed because these guys was very intelligent. They would notice. They tried us so many times to overthrow, telling these guys, go back to wherever you came from, to Somalia, to Ethiopia, to wherever you came from. But all the rebellions and the fighting to overthrow the king, the Tutsi king, never came to fruition. It never. So when they got to the chance, later in the years, the plan was to finish everyone. That was the plan. The plan was finish, and it was possible. It was possible to clear. And maybe those who had migrated a little earlier, maybe those would be the survivors. But the Tutsi Rwandans who were in Rwanda, one, her father, told some of these stories, and even the colleagues they were staying with, because it was a Rwandan community in Uganda. So much of the stories, some of it were felt, because her mom, by the way, her mom was not Tutsi. Her mom was Hutu.
Really?
Yes.
But she was not killed?
No.
Why?
Because these people migrated so early.
Really?
They ran, because if you had...
So in Rwanda they would have been killed, but because they escaped, they were not killed.
Yes.
Wow.
Because this is what I told you, that if you had a Hutu wife...
Yeah, you told us.
Or you were a Tutsi and you were married, so the difference was so hard. Even right now. Now this is interesting. If you... I don't know, I would say this, but if you understood it in Rwanda very well, if you want to abuse a boy, they are trying to show things are not, now it is fine, all rosy. No, it's not yet.
What are they saying when it's a boy? To abuse a boy, what are they saying?
He would say,
that means what?
That this dog, this Hutu dog, no?
Like this, they speak about them.
Someone, it's an abuse to call you so it is still there.
You see?
It is still there. We're just
sugarcoating it a bit.
Yeah, but the anger is still there. I had a friend, a friend of ours. She loves me so much. Once houseboy would do some silly something. We grew up from here. We don't speak good Rwanda, but you would know she's abusing him. So if you made a mistake, she would be, look at this stupid Hutu boy. Then. No?
Serious. Not
Yes.
We cannot say racism, but if a white person would do that to an African, it would be
very, very bad.
very, very bad.
Very bad. It would. It is here. It is here. These are two tribes that are in a. It is like equating the other person to a dog.
Yeah, underhuman.
Less human.
Yeah.
So why? Oh, no.
Thank you for that information. Perhaps we have a second go, but for now I think it's enough. It's almost half an hour. Hopefully it will help people understand what they are portraying in the news. What we are reading and seeing is not factual. It's a lie, it's a cover-up of the very tragic history between Hutu and Tutsi.
Yes. Yeah. She told me there could be mistakes that were made. I don't know if they are rectifiable. There could be, but suppressing this thing and say it's not anymore. It's a lie. It's still there. Even those who have escaped to other countries,